Security is top of mind for everyone in it these days. Cyber attacks are constantly evolving, forcing security specialists to create new schemes and methods to keep them at bay. Spending on information security and risk management progressively increases, reaching total 172 billions in 2022. Encryption algorithms ensure that information stays private and confidential, whether it's being stored or in transit, so that an unauthorized access to the data will only see a chaotic array of bytes. Once encrypted, the message becomes a jumbled mess of random numbers, letters, or characters. But equipped with the key, the recipient can decrypt it and find the original message. So we all agree, and there is no doubt, that security is the top priority. Contrary to what we believe, encryption algorithms are not only used to secure our messages or digital accounts. Even if we are not conscious of it, we use algorithms and algorithmic thinking all the time. Algorithms are language-independent plain instructions for solving a mathematical problem that can be implemented in any language, and yet the output will be the same as expected. As a matter of fact, every day we implement hundreds, if not thousands, of algorithms which reflect the way we think, communicate, or solve life problems. Every time we use our phone, computer, TV, laptop, turn on an application, we are using algorithms. For example, sorting papers. When we are sorting our personal documents, we are implementing an algorithm. In its most basic sense, we are following a set of tasks to achieve an outcome. Facial recognition, which is the mechanics behind iPhone logins and filters. The system works by using a biometric map to plot facial features from a photo or video. It then takes this information and compares it to a known database of faces to find a match. Music apps employs algorithms to present you with music choices that will pique your interest and keep you on the platform. Social media platforms to keep the user scrolling and personalize a user feed. Or online e-commerce shopping that uses algorithms on a daily basis to track shoppers' interest and improve sales. Has it ever occurred to you that you park your car, say on a parking lot in a mall, to find out later on that you didn't remember where you actually had parked? But fortunately you realized that you had a phone application which could track the car. So overall, there wasn't an issue. Amazing, right? But did you know that the moment we thought that our phone application would solve our issue, the same moment we became subject to that application? In other words, we admitted that we surrendered our internal safety, certainty, and consciousness to external factors. In a similar way, crypto investors have recently lost their digital assets. They put their trust in encryption algorithms, which had been designed by fully fledged cryptographers. Instead of trust their own guts or intuitions, the investor surrendered their consciousness directly into the hands of encryption algorithms. And of course, there is a reason why they couldn't trust their own judgment, but rather prefer to be backed up by some data algorithms, as if their consciousness was turned off. Do you remember when you were shopping and you were 100% positive that this device you saw, an investment you were offered, a car, a house, clothing, shoes, furniture, was 100% suited and customized for you? Like you knew it was 100% for you. You had to have it. To find out a couple of days later that you truly didn't need it, you didn't want it, you couldn't stand it anymore, and you really had to return it. How come? How 2 days before you were so confident, so certain about it, about that company, about that person, that investment, or that device? Why you didn't know? We should have known, right? What happened was that our weaknesses were overwhelmed. The magic number 7 plus or minus 2 provides evidence that the capacity of short-term memory, most adults can actually store between 5 to 9 items in their short-term memory. So when we overwhelm that memory, and this is done by encryption algorithms, As a result, we are confused and we don't know anymore what is right and what is not. And unfortunately, most of our decisions, especially regarding digital assets and investments, cannot be returned just like that. By why this is so dangerous? Because each time we surrender our consciousness, we become subject to encryption algorithms. Our consciousness is switched off. As a result, human consciousness weakens, become more vulnerable and more susceptible to commands and orders that are concealed within purposefully designed algorithms. The encryption algorithms are literally in every single aspect of our life. Education, science, medicine, spirituality, relationship, religion, culture, politics, blockchain, staking, NFTs, or token utility. And whether we are aware of it or not, we are being bombarded with thousands of algorithms every day. While they have provided actually a lot of useful services, it's easy for simple programs to be taken advantage of by big tech, and of course countless others. There are many instances where algorithms are used by large corporations to collect our data and use it to turn a profit. Data are not only algorithms of opinion embedded in codes. The major objective of encryption algorithms is to convince the users that they don't need to make their own conscious and independent decisions, although it looks as if the users were making their own decisions. That is the paradox we don't understand. The encrypted algorithm's job is to persuade us that every single life problem, life challenge, pain or chaos can be solved by an algorithm. Each encryption algorithm which awakens within the user's consciousness a desire that consequently has to be fulfilled is considered by WAFPE as the anti-algorithm. For the user, a desire is a desire. The user cannot differentiate whether one desire stems from the user's natural consciousness or whether a desire has been purposefully imposed on the user. Can we truly differentiate, say, a desire that we want to drink coffee from a desire that we want to verify a new crypto investment? No. For us, there is no difference. We don't feel any disparity whatsoever because these two desires are coming from the same source, our consciousness. Therefore, it's almost impossible to prove that one of these two desires was deliberately engrafted within our consciousness. We did it to ourselves, as only we can activate these anti-algorithms, and big tech knows about it. They don't feel responsible for that, and why they should. They are not responsible for what the users are going to do to themselves. One of the top anti-algorithm that is frequently used is hashtag, based on which the users build their trust and their personal opinion. Social media applications have created a mechanism which, by the way, is progressively upgraded, that implies the users that the more hashtags a project, a news, an investment, a person has, the greater the decentralization. The users who have become addicted from hashtags because they have to check them every little while have no clue that this encryption algorithm has been displayed to them according to their personal preferences. As a matter of fact, the users are not addicted from hashtags. The users are addicted from energy hashtags trigger. When a hashtag is displayed, the users cannot refrain from not checking it. They have to react this way or another, make a post, create another hashtag, make a comment, share it with other users, accept the hashtag or reject it. Either way, they have to fulfill their desires. Not unless the users are convinced that this encryption algorithm does not rule them. That has nothing to do with their personal decision they make. And that is exactly what the big tech objective is. We have been convinced that algorithms are going to solve all our life problems and challenges, that they can fulfill us and make us happy. We have been persuaded by scientists that algorithms can replace our consciousness. Consciousness, however, is not a brain-like algorithmic system of computation of cognition, as consciousness is not computational. Scientists who paradoxically do what is in their power to control us by encryption algorithms are also addicted from data, claiming that by increasing the power of computation, naturally, consciousness will emerge. However, whether we talk about physical or psychological activities, like we can play a game on a phone and where our fingers go next, is not something we consciously decided to do. The same rule applies to our thoughts. It is all largely controlled by the cerebellum, which as far as we know is entirely unconscious. So the greater number of neurons in the brain, which are in the cerebellum, seem not to be acting according conscious actions at all. The same way encryption algorithms cannot replace human consciousness, because consciousness does not stem from the human brain. Consciousness cannot be harnessed by analytical or algorithmic thinking and inserted simply into encryption algorithms. And that is the true problem, because the big tech, and of course not only, they do everything what is in their power to make sure that encrypted algorithms are going to be implemented in every single aspect of our life. And once this happens, then the human consciousness is not going to be required anymore. So what is the solution? VAVPay's objective is to collect as many anti-algorithms as possible and convert them into STEM data. Thanks to VAVPay application, which buys back anti-algorithms that have been purposefully designed to influence people's consciousness. The process of anti-algorithms conversion can be compared to stem cells. The same way stem cells do have a potential to become all other kind of cells in our body uses stem cells to replace worn out cells when they die, the same way anti-algorithms can be taken and converted into STEM data, meaning into a purified, undifferentiated data which does not consist of any purposeful desires. Once the process is completed, STEM data can be circled back into the particular marketplace. As a result, the users become self-conscious and liberated from addictions. In simple words, the users will not have to follow big tech desires that used to be imposed into them. If you are excited and would like to take part in our project, become not only the user but also the co-owner of the company, and would like to find out more how the conversion of anti-algorithms works, go to www.vavpay.io/preseed, where you find more information and details how you can join us. So, as always, I would like to thank you for your time, which we sincerely appreciate it, and take this opportunity to invite to join us on our social media, where you would be able to find all the latest news, announcements and updates. There is no better place to post your questions. And I will have a look whether there are some questions. We have a couple of questions. Jessica asks, if there is total control by algorithms, meaning all our life problems are going to be taken over, where will this take us as humanity? Well, that's a very profound question. In my opinion, the algorithms are not going to rule our humanity life, meaning they are not going to take over our consciousness. And the reason for that is that consciousness is not something that scientists think that consciousness is, meaning consciousness is atoms. And atoms, in other words, are intelligent energy. So this intelligent energy cannot be just taken over by algorithm. That's what scientists would like to do. That's what scientists would like to control. So this way or another, it truly depends on how much pain, I would say, how much suffering as people we have to go through. And we are going to be reawakened by this. So if we are going to figure it out that the algorithms are turning off our consciousness, so the more the algorithms are going to rule our life, the more painful situations we are going to experience. So then we will have to switch on again our consciousness. So that is the mechanism. The mechanism is to be reawakened by pain sometimes, and see through that algorithms cannot solve our life issues, and they are not going to. So it truly depends that I think, in my opinion, they are not going to rule our lives, because before that we will realize, in other words, that we should change something within us, that algorithms, mathematical algorithms, just basically cannot take it over and switch off our consciousness. That's something which is not going to happen. But whether this is going to happen sooner or later depends on us. Depends on how much pain we are going to experience as people. Okay, and there is also a question from Raku321. What is the most efficient way to get rid of encryption algorithms? First of all, I would say that we cannot just get rid of something, because whether we are talking about a phone, whether we are going to talk about a computer, whether we are going to talk about the encryption algorithms, or even this workshop, this webinar, because you can see me, all of this stuff consists of atoms. Also the encryption algorithms. So the encryption algorithms basically, like atoms, cannot be destroyed, cannot be get rid of in a sense, so to speak. They can be converted. So we can convert, first of all, the algorithms from anti-algorithms into stem data algorithms. That's what we can do. So I wouldn't say that we can get rid of this. Now, what is the most efficient way? I'm going to talk a little bit more about these ways during the next live webinar, which is next week, entitled Big Tech Use Neuroscience to Manipulate Their Users. And we are going to provide more cases and solutions to that, because what it exactly means, what the corporation knows and what they do basically is that the users, and what is their objective is that the users, they consume their desire. That is the objective. Once the users consume their desires, they get addicted from that consumption. So instead of consuming our desires, we should dematerialize these desires. When the user knows how to dematerialize that desires, it means that it's using consciousness. It means that this desire that was imposed on the user is not going to be consumed. And this way we can actually physically manifest so much into our life instead of being addicted from something. So that is the difference, and that is the more efficient way actually for the users to begin with our application. Because our application is going to show the users how they can dematerialize, at least to begin with, as this application has been designed for 7 years, not only for 1 year, but in the first year, to show the users how they can start, instead of consuming stuff and being addicted from this, as this also, as a result, gives them an effect that they don't want. They can dematerialize it, meaning they can control this process and they can liberate themselves from this addiction. So the most efficient way is not to consume, but to learn how to dematerialize. And about this, I'm going to talk more next time. Are there any more questions? No, I don't see more questions for today's. So guys, thank you so much. Thank you one more time. We truly appreciate sincerely that you have been with us, and we wish you all the best. Stay in touch and see you soon. Take care.